And as well, there is a concern, ladies and gentlemen, a concern indeed, that the district council, DC City Council, is not seriously considering the actual cost of what it takes to keep our city safe, the District of Columbia. Henderson, what are we looking at in terms of budget cuts? Because we're looking at a city that has $14 billion budget or whatever, and bringing $200 million a year or more off of speed cameras and speed tickets. There should be more than enough money to spread around for the DC police, right?
Absolutely. I got an email from Chief Newsom explaining in detail this topic, kind of briefly, not in detail.
Yeah.
But he told me he had 3,800 officers right now on board, and through natural attrition, he knows that his force is going to be reduced through 2020. And the $2.2 million recommendation that Charles Allen made to Phil Mickelson to reduce the budget for MPD is going to restrict him in hiring. And he wanted to hire more officers to put on foot patrol. He wanted more officers to interact with the community more. The things we told him that we wanted. We wanted to have more officers on bike patrol to really interact with the community. You know, you have to be properly staffed for that. Now, with this reduction in natural attrition, he knows his force is going to be reduced anyway if it continues at the same rate. And that would impact services to district residents in terms of public safety. And it's a concern, and I think more people need to be outraged about it, especially with the violence. I mean, we can have all the violence interrupted we want to have, but none of those guys are going out getting guns off the streets. None of them are doing it appropriately.
Now,
that's the main message of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Henderson, you know, when it comes to bureaucrats and the upper echelon of government, everybody needs more money. I mean, you always need another road. You always need another social service. You always need something. Why does Chief Newsom believe that he needs 4,000 police officers versus the 3,800 that we have? We only talk about 200 people, right?
Well, he knows that it's going to be reduced. That number is going to go down to natural attrition.
Yes.
So through 2020, he knows he's going to lose officers through natural attrition. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to hire extra officers to have out in the community to put more of those officers on foot patrol. And he wanted to have more officers on scooters and the bicycles to actually interact with the community and get out there and be in the heart of what's going on. And that's how you really interact and you really be a presence in the community.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and that definitely impacts service to the community.
Yeah, see, and that's the point. That's the point that I wanted to get to with you, Henderson. Henderson Law and DC's Missing Voice. The missing of service. Now, remember last May, Muriel Bowser held a press conference, and she was chastised by the press for not taking the homicide crisis east of the river very seriously. And they had to move officers from the 1st and 2nd district in order to come over here to Ward 7 and 8 to provide the additional support mechanisms to make arrests and so on. So a lot of people don't understand that 3,800 is a large number, but it is stretched thinly when we look at the crime rate in District of Columbia. Am I correct?
Yes, right now I think I look at crimes at a glance, and our homicides are up, I think, by 7%. I think last year this time, I think we had 54 homicides, and I think right now we may be close to 60, 57, 58.
Yeah.
Give or take one or two, but that's still a lot. That's ticket homicides our worst crime.
Mm-hmm.
Homicide is the highest right now than it's ever been. So, starting year. The summer's not even here yet. It hasn't even been
Yeah,
summer months yet.
that's the key point. A lot of people don't understand that this wave, you would want it to be a very small wave going into the summer, because we know that during the summertime there is more crime, there are more opportunities for homicide. Can you explain to people why that is, Henderson?
Well, more people are out. People are, some people don't have jobs
Mm-hmm.
for various reasons. Some people don't have opportunities. In the summertime, there's more opportunity. More people are out in the summertime. More people are shopping. More people are out walking, doing various things in their community, out in their yard.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of property theft take place with people out. When you start talking about crime and criminals, all kinds of stuff can happen. But in the summertime, when the weather's nice and a lot of people are, it's a lot more opportunity, and you see a lot more. You see a greater number of violent crimes. But
Yeah.
I actually have the statistics for all of violent crimes. Sexual assault, which is down. I think a couple of percent is down. But in the summertime, it's just been a natural thing in terms of historically, we see crime spike in the summertime. And at the rate we're going now, many people are concerned about their safety when they're walking to go get a sandwich from the store or wherever they're going, that they could be randomly shot. We have a lot of homicides that have occurred, and unintended targets have been hit.
Yeah.
Kids, Micaiah Wilson was killed. She was an unintended target. You can't walk to the ice cream truck to get a child without being struck by a stray bullet. And during the summertime, things heat up. People are out.
Yeah, and
That's why the summertime. Go ahead.
yeah, they always say that if we would just give people more summer jobs, the crime rate would go down, and that's been found to be untrue. The bottom line is that you have more gang violence, you have more drugs going through the neighborhoods, and that's because there are more young people who are out there, who are slinging, who are, in terms of violent crimes, they are getting their head start in terms of joining those particular gangs. They're going through initiation uh,
Mm-hmm.
events, in which they are,
Absolutely.
they're one of the initiation, and this is gruesome for people who are sitting at home and listening to this, but it's a urban initiation. You may have to kill somebody in order to be a part of a gang. So a lot of this stuff is going on, but when we go back to the idea of police, in the end, a police officer in most cases is only going to be able to report the crime. And it is very important to have as many police officers as possible because of the attrition rate. Why is it that so many police officers, Henderson, leave their jobs? Why is it they leave the police force? I mean, they're well paid. You got great benefits. Why are they leaving that?
Well, some just make a decision that it's not for them. Many people don't understand the sacrifices involved, the stress of the job. It's not for everybody. So you may have a high turnover rate with police officers. But I wanted to go back to a point you made in terms of the ripple effect that understaffing can cause.
Yes.
You may not have as many plain clothes officers. If I got a missing person and I got patrol officers in the missing persons unit, they're counted as a part of the missing persons unit. What they'll do is go and pull people from the missing persons unit to come out and try to stop and help with other crimes that's going on. So what it causes a lot of shifts within the department. It makes the department unstable
Mm.
in terms of that's unstable. You
Yeah.
gotta do all what you just said. You pointed out that the first district, folks from the first and third district had to come over to 17 to
Yeah.
help out with trying to bring some of the homicide down. This will gonna cause a ripple effect everywhere. And another thing I want to point out too is our plainclothes details. Vice people who go out gather intelligence and really get guns off the street. effect with that. They'll get moved and put into something else and pulled over into something else. So it causes instability, lack of staffing. So this is important. This is very important. Chief Bishop also pointed out that Bill Middleton has the opportunity, still has the opportunity to fix this. So it's not a done deal yet.
Yeah.
It's not like it's in stone. But we need to make enough noise about it so that we can send a message to those thinking that they don't get worse.
Henderson, there are lots of people. First and foremost, you and I both know, and I thank God for you and your lovely wife, for your many prayers, for our many conversations of support to one another since the death of my daughter, and all that you have done for the community. Relisha Rudd, in that particular case as well, you've just been a fiery, passionate advocate for the cause of the voiceless. And so I thank God for you and what you do. But there's so many people in our community, Henderson, that will sit back and they will say, wait a minute, you know, nobody's saying anything about the homeless. No one's saying anything about, you know, missing persons or whatever. And I don't want to get involved. And it wouldn't make a difference anyway if I got involved. Is that true?
Well, no, it's not true. It's so much. That's far from the truth. We need everybody involved. We need all hands on deck. We need everybody to be vigilant in communities. We need folks to give those detectives an anonymous note. You don't want to get involved. Look, I can kind of understand why some people may not get involved with certain things, but give those detectives that information. They're still suffering. We don't know who killed my aunt. We still searching for her killer. We still searching for Shanice's killer. And the community got the answers. The community got all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So I just encourage all who know something, who saw something, who got critical information, or at least a little bit of information on the homicide of Shanice's daughter, to because I know people leery about the anonymous text system that NPV has, the 50411 number. You can drop an anonymous letter in the mail. They don't have to know who you are.
Yeah.
But keep up that information. You got detectives working 24/7 on these cases, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not sleeping, not washing their behind. And you got the answer that can help a mother who's suffering, and you won't do it. You won't, you understand, testify, but give that detective that information that's needed. You know, they don't want to get fuel off, but you can always dial me at 202-491-2327 and drop that information. So your tip will be totally confidential and anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
We just want closure for families. Every time I go back, who could stand back and not do something or do a little bit that may help break it? Who could do that? I mean, I just don't understand, but I just continue to beg the public and plead to the public, those who know anything about violent crimes in Washington, D.C., to just do whatever you can do. If you have to drop an anonymous letter in the mail, do it.
Exactly.
To help us bring some closure.
Exactly. Now, for those of you who are following along at home, there are a very number of ways of contacting the district police department. And you can easily call 311 if you wish, but there is an agency directory as well that you can get in contact with. But I am telling you, the best thing that you can do is pick up the phone. You can even text a tip. There are a number of opportunities for individuals to do that. But you can call the police at 202-727-9099. 202-727-9099. In the case of our daughter Shanice Milton, you can call Detective Chanel Howard at that particular number. You can leave tips. But violent crime, ladies and gentlemen, well, in fact, all crime in the District of Columbia is up 6% overall for this particular year. And we're moving into a very, very chaotic summer, where there is a lot of cause and effect out there. Now, I want to do this real quick. I want to hold you over because I want you to talk to families about the things that they need to do, the safe things that they need to do to prepare. Because a lot of people never think it can happen to them. It's always those people over there at Ward 7 and 8. Over there. Those are the ones who are going through the storms and stuff, and they should know how to handle missing persons. But homicide and missing persons can happen to anybody. Am I correct?
Well, no one is exempt. That's what Deborah Bailey is teaching us, the mother of Kendra Smith, that no one is exempt to homicide. All district residents, in terms of a missing person, if you have a missing person, we encourage you to dial MPD and place a formal report in. Keep an up-to-date photo of your loved one. Medical information, have that on hand. You know who your physician is, what medications your child has. We encourage folks to have fingerprints. You can get your child fingerprinted by calling MPD, or you can call me. I fingerprint district residents and put their fingerprints into the child ID kit, which the National Center for Missing Exploited Kids provides for free. So fingerprint data, what else? Medical data, dental records, have dental records. When you lose a loved one, someone's business is chaotic.
Yeah.
I mean, and these things are very, very difficult. It's hard to find when you're buying it every year. So first, getting that report in, to MPD by calling 202-727-9099, which is the Command Information Center. That's the first step. Having an up-to-date photo. So many families call MPD and don't have an up-to-date photo. And having that information, having the date and time, a full physical description of your child, their height, their current one, what they actually weigh now.
Henderson, that is one of the most poignant things I think anyone could say anywhere, at any time. Often when there is and this happens in domestic violence cases, it happens in divorce cases where mom and dad are separate and dad comes by and takes the kids, or mom comes and takes the kids, and there's so much drama. And they have pictures of the kids when they were 3 and 4 years old, but they don't have any current picture of the child. How does the public know how to deal with this crisis then, right?
It's through education. It's through what you're doing now, providing a platform. Someone's going to hear this, and this is going to save their life. This is going to help bring a child home faster. When you have this stuff readily available, the child ID, all of the National Center for Missing Exploited Kids child ID kits spot. You put the photos, we put your fingerprints in there, we put your medical data, your physician's data, your full physical description, medical history, all that stuff is there, right there. You hand it right into the detective. It's a little thin child ID kit, which can be safe, kept in your home somewhere. The custodial parent keep the juvenile's fingerprints, because a lot of people thought that this information would be warehoused by the police, the law enforcement agency. They were reluctant to do it, but the custodial parents keep the child ID kit and have it on hand should their loved one go missing. And you don't have to use the child ID kit for a child. It can be used for an adult as well. But the National Center of Missing Exploited Kids made it for kids. They deal with children, anyone under the age of 18. But it can be used in many different ways for adults too, if they want to have their information put in a format like that. I'm gonna have a few of them.
Exactly. You do a wonderful job. You do a wonderful job advocating for the voiceless. But there are families out there who have never heard from their detective. And this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't cut the budget for the police. In fact, you should increase it for the special divisions like unresolved homicides and missing persons. Those should be increased dramatically. But there are those who haven't heard from their detective in 4 or 5 years. We're special. I want to thank Detective Chanel Howard and Captain Haith for all that they've done for our family in terms of getting us information regarding the case. But I've spoken with people who haven't heard from a detective in 4 or 5 years, and I had one person, a gentleman, come up to me right after the murder of our death and said, "Keep going, man, keep going, because as long as they keep your baby in the light, then they'll think about my baby." I haven't heard from my detective in 5 years. So, and it was crushing at that point because their parents were sitting out there like us, and we're thinking that all these police officers, they're going to find the culprit. There are less than 100 cold case or homicide detectives out there right now, and there are over 3,000, actually about 3,500 unresolved homicide cases in the District of Columbia. It's a very difficult and daunting process. How can people get in contact with you to get a better idea, a better concept of what needs to be done, not just for unresolved homicides, but missing persons and public safety?
Well, they can always call me direct. I'm always available for a phone call at 202-491-2327. And, I work closely with detectives, and I try to help the families understand, and the detectives understand as well, um, all of the nuances on both ends of the spectrum. Because, they're investigating the case. We all want the others and hoping that they can get the case solved. So how can we move forward together? How can we come to an understanding? Because it's very difficult when families are desperate for answers. They demand answers, some families. And unfortunately, some cases take time.
Yeah.
Take a lot of time. And, I try to provide a little bit of continuity, a little bit of understanding. I can maybe explain to you. When it comes from someone who's not a detective, sometimes people have a tendency to accept a little more. Because, some people have their ideas about the police.
Yeah.
They have their ideas, they have things they can pre-program to think. That their detective is not working. When the vast majority of detectives are working. They're working hard.
Yeah.
They want to solve your case. But, as with the laws and stuff now, they really make us prove it. I mean, they make us prove it. They make us jump through hoops to get search warrants, to get all these different things that give that detective these roadblocks, that he got to go through that first.
Mm-hmm.
Or he can get the search warrant. You may know where your crime scene is at, but he may not be able to go in there yet because the judge won't sign off yet. He has not presented probable cause or reason to believe that a crime occurred. He may not be able to present it with enough. But sometimes he has enough. But the way the laws are set up, they make him jump through this a hoop that they can't even reach sometimes. Who may not want to talk to the police. They drop it on me and tell me what went on, what happened, so what. They may not even want to come forward. But I'm going to tell you, when you give that detective that one little piece, that one little piece, that one little thing I might say, somebody told me about Sharnice and her homicide, crack the case wide open.
Exactly. Just want to say one other.
People will need to understand that.
Yeah, I just want to say one other quick thing regarding that. It is very difficult for the police. That's why Mrs. Biggs and I have an earnest understanding of what policing is and what detective work is. And also, one of the biggest problems is the DA's office, the district attorney's office.
Yes.
They want only perfect cases. They don't want to have to work hard to convince a city that's built on a framework of social justice and let the criminal off. They don't want to have to work hard to prove their case. So they're looking for 100% perfect cases to be thrown on their desk. And that's almost impossible to do when we have the idea of reasonable doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, the only way that we're going to get these cases solved and make it easier for detectives to go to sleep at night is to be open and to be honest and to help them in every step of the way. Because the criminal that got away with the murder of my child will get away with the murder of your child. It's just that simple. Henderson Long, we love you, man. Thank you. This will not be the last time you're on. We got to have you come on a little bit more often, and especially for the fight on the budget. We got to make sure that our police are fully funded. DC's missing voice, Henderson Long. We love you, man. You can find him at www.facebook.com/DC Missing Voice. We will be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
Mac and Bewick is one of the most